So, hey everybody. Today I'm going to give you a story time. And I want to talk to you about how a coworker tried to use me and probably indeed used me. So, I used to work with this lady and we worked on the same projects, but we were never in the same office. So, she would be wherever she is working from home. I would be where I am working from home. I would always kind of talk. And because we kind of from the same country, I connected with her when I first started the job. She was there before me. So, give you a little intro to the place and tell you how the things set up and all that. So you kind of make a connection, and we kept in touch. A couple years later, she left the job, and um, we still kept in touch, albeit kind of sporadic. And she'd call me with some situations that she's facing in a new job, and I would offer some support, and we just keep each other in contact. They're like a nice brethren. In Jamaica we say you're a brethren. So we keep in touch. So she's always traveling, though. Is a person that has no problem traveling solo, will travel to anywhere she wants to go. I always admire how well she can just go into a new place and just learn the place and learn the systems and learn how to move from point A to point B and get it very quickly. So she reached out to me one day and she asked me, I was talking to her about something else, and I let it slip that I'm going to be traveling to this particular country. I don't want to say the country name right now. So I told her I was traveling to this other foreign country, and she said, "Oh, really? I've never been there. I've always heard about it. I think it's a great place. I want to go." So I said, "Oh, that's cool." And then the conversation went to other topics, and that was it. So a couple of weeks later, she called me back and she asked me, "Oh, what about the trip that you have going to XYZ place?" And I said, "Yeah, it's still on. I'm going to go. It's a company trip. The company's paying for me. They're going to be paying for my hotel, paying for my air flight, paying for my food, everything. Because when you go on a company trip, they pay for everything." And she knows this. She knows this. So she says to me that she's going to come on the trip. So I said, "Okay, cool. No problem. You can come. We can hang out. And this will be the first time I'll be meeting her in person. So no problem." So she, I told her the dates that I'm going to go. She said she's going to check out those dates so she can get the time off and all that. So that's fine. So like a couple days before the trip, she calls me and she says if she can stay with me in my hotel room for the trip. And that struck me as weird. Maybe it won't strike other people as weird, but for me it was weird because if I'm gonna travel with if I'm gonna go somewhere, if somebody said they're going somewhere and I'm gonna go, I expect to have my own hotel room. Like, I never think I'm gonna sleep in the same room and bunk with you. Like, I'm just not a bunking person. I did roommates from college, and I've never done roommates again. That's just me. So I felt strange because it's not like although we're friends, we never met in person. So it's kind of weird to just share a room with somebody you've never met in person. And it's a company trip also. So, it's not like it's at my own discretion if I can, what kind of room I get and all that stuff. Now, the good thing is the company lets you pick whichever hotel you want, whatever configuration you want the hotel to have. So she's like, "Yeah, why don't you just pick a hotel room with 2 beds? Right? Pick a big suite with 2 beds and all that stuff." So my company, they're kind of free with those things. They let you have a good time. They'll pay for it. But that doesn't mean I want to exploit them. You know what I'm saying? Like, most of us, we have conscience. So not because they say you can pick any hotel, we're not going to pick the Ritz-Carlton. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to be over the top. So anyway, I picked a decent hotel, and they had the 2 beds. So I picked that. Okay, fine. I didn't like it, and I thought it was bold because it's a work trip. You said you want to come. If you can't afford your own space, why are you coming? Yeah. So that was weird. But I'm like, whatever. I'll make it work. Whatever, fine. So then she tries to tell me to stay an extra day. So I have the trip for, let's say, Tuesday to Friday. She wants me to stay till Saturday. And I'm like, "No, I have to be back home. I have a kid going to school. I have things to do on the weekend. I have other things. I don't want to stay in this country an extra day because I have things to do. I'm going there for work. I finish work. I'm coming home." She wanted to stay extra day so she can explore the city and do other things like that, which is fine because she's on vacation. I'm at work. Plus, I have a kid, and I don't need to, for me to travel, I have to make arrangements. I don't want to inconvenience the people. I make arrangements with all this stuff, right? I have real estate that I have to manage. I have Airbnb. I have to make sure it's ready for the next guest, things like that. So I have a lot of things going on, and I didn't want to inconvenience myself. So she kept pressuring me to stay extra day, and I'm like, no, I'm not staying extra day. So she finally gave up with that. So the day comes, and we're supposed, well, a couple of days before, all of this is happening very close to the date of the flight, right? So, because she already had her plans, so she already had her ticket by now, because I told her when I was going and my itinerary, and so she made her plans based on that. But I don't know what her plans are, but she knows what my plans are. So, a day or so before the flight, she says to me, okay, she's gonna have to leave. She didn't get the day off, so she's gonna have to leave work later that day, and then she's gonna pick an evening flight, and she's gonna come later in the day. So I said, oh well, that's rough because my flight is gonna be earlier. My flight lands at around 4:30 ish, and her flight would land around 8:39. That's like 4 hour difference. She's asking me if I can wait for her at the airport. So I'm like, gosh, if I was on a casual trip, I probably would say yes. But I'm flying in and I'm preparing for a session I'm going to be running the next day. So I need to get there, get into my hotel, get in a good frame of mind, finish up my presentation deck, tidy up all the things, whatever, right? So I really don't want to waste time just sitting in the airport for no reason. And it's not like I'm waiting an hour. I'm waiting 4 hours for the flight to land. I'm tired. When you land at 9, it could take you, let's say it doesn't take you 3 hours. Let's say you land at 9, 8:39-ish. If your flight delays, I'm screwed, right? Hopefully it doesn't delay. If it didn't delay, I'd still at least 10, 10:30, I'm getting there. And I just didn't want to do that. I want to get in, relax, chill. The place that we're staying has good amenities, pool, and all these other things. So I want to go enjoy a little bit of relaxation, fix up my presentation, get myself together, get my clothes ironed, just get prepped, go to bed early, sleep, so that when I wake up in the morning, the reason for them paying for me to come on this trip was the next day I had to present. I had to be there at 8 o'clock, so I needed to, really do a good job. So I just didn't want to have any hiccups. So I felt like she was presenting a lot of problems in the beginning, and I was like, oh Lord have mercy, help me with this presentation and this thing. So I told her, no, I'm not gonna stay for 4 hours away for your flight to land. I can't do that. And she's like, okay, fine. So we exchanged numbers. She already had my number, but I told her, the number will be the same when I reach this country. So you can still reach out to me with the same number. Because, sometimes you go to a new country, you get a new chip, you get a new phone, you get a new number, whatever. I didn't do that. I was able to get my phone to work, right? So I told her to call me when she arrives. Because since the hotel is booked in my name, and I'm going to go to the hotel, I'm going to get the room number and all that stuff. When she arrives, I'll meet her so I can take her to wherever we're staying. So I'm looking out for her to arrive 10-ish, 10:30-ish. So I'm in the lobby. By this time, I already went inside, changed, refreshed, and all that stuff. So I'm waiting for her in the lobby. And then I see somebody walking up towards the entrance of the hotel. So I'm like, oh, that must be her. So I go out there to meet her. And she tells me that she just arrived and she actually took the bus to come to the hotel. So I was like, oh my God, you took the bus? Because we're in a new country. They don't speak English. That's not their first language. And I don't know, like I wouldn't chance taking a bus at night in a new country. Like I would take an Uber because that's what I did. I came out, I took an Uber, and an Uber took me to my hotel. She said, no, I took the bus. So I was like, okay, I guess you're brave. I mean, it's not a dangerous country, but still, just getting lost, not knowing where you're going. But again, she's very good at these things, so I guess she's able to do that. But I was a little bit shocked that she wouldn't take the Uber. It's just easier. I said Uber and get there. Why would you have to go find the bus line and then take the bus and come off and then walk with your luggage? And it's just so much hassle. Anyway, she took the bus. She came up and she saw me. She's like, "Oh my God, you're so tall." Which that's a comment I don't like when people say because I'm 5'9". I'm tall. I know that. I see myself in the mirror. I know I'm tall. So when you come up to me and tell me something that's obvious that I would definitely know, it drives me nuts. It's like when you see a fat person, you say, "Oh my God, he gained weight." Why would you say that? Why would you tell somebody that? Right? In Jamaica, Jamaicans love to mention your weight. Oh, you get fatty. Like they're trying to tell you something like a compliment, but it's really not. It's a backhanded slap. So and she's short. So I could have said, my God, you're so short. But I don't do that because why do I need to remind you of something that you obviously would know? So I was a little ticked off by that. But anyway, we had a good time. She came in. Um, we had two separate beds and we just tried to make it work. It was all right. But when you have somebody that you don't know, they don't know the things that you like and you don't know what they like. So, for example, for me, I need to sleep in dead darkness. The place has to be dark. Like, I don't want to see no lights because I just want to fall asleep. But for her, she liked to have the TV on. She liked to have little lights in the bathroom. So I just had to like cover my face. So I was a little distracted because, it's just a little inconvenient, right? It's not like it's your friend where you're close with and you can, it felt weird. It felt kind of weird. And I was like, okay, I can't sleep in lights. She's like, oh, I didn't know. And then she turned off the TV. But I don't want to be picky. Like every single thing kind of is different from what I'm used to, right? So I wake up in the morning, I get a shower, I go to work, I come back, I get a shower. She's like, oh, you showered this morning, showering again? Yeah, I like to shower. I like it. So I don't need those little comments, you know what I'm saying? Then I would make, because I brought my own little kettle and little stuff. And I offered, hey, if you want to make some tea, I have kettle here. She said, oh, okay. And then she went and we found out that the hotel that I booked actually came with breakfast included. So she would go and she'd get breakfast. She'd tell me, hey, they have this breakfast and so on. She'd go get breakfast. So she'd go to have something to eat. And then I don't know what she ate when I left. I guess she probably ate something. So then we we have dinner. So this is the next day now. I go do my presentation, but as a company outing, we take the clients out to dinner. And we go to some fancy restaurant and there's a lot of shoulder rubbing and all kinds of woozing going on. Okay, so we have to do that. So we go to this restaurant and they already have the menu curated. So they had the menu curated with the different meals that they're gonna bring out. And I saw that they put the price of the meal on the menu. I was like, oh my God, why would they do that? When you're taking out your clients, you don't want the client to know how much you pay per person. They put the price on the menu. So I took a picture of it and I said to her, look at this. How could they do this? They put the price on the menu so now everybody knows how much it costs per person. That was the point of the picture I took to send to her, just to alarm her that, hey, look what's happening here. Do you know that she messaged me back and said, "Oh, they have steak on the menu and they have what was it again? Sushi and all these other fancy stuff." And she was like, "Oh, can you get some for me? Can you bring home a box with some? Take. I want this and I want this and I want this and I want." She's ordering off the menu, and I'm like, "No, we're at a company dinner. First of all, I'm the only right. This is not a place to get a box to go home." This is a high class fancy place. We're all eating here. How would I be the only person to say, hey, can I get an extra in a box? No, I'm not doing that. So I was I wasn't happy with that. Like if you needed to get something to eat, like you're already not paying for the room. You're not paying, the only thing you pay for so far is your plane ticket and your bus fare. You have to be able to support yourself. Like so I wasn't happy. Like, why are you asking me? I'm like, no, I'm not gonna bring home a box. He's like, you can just ask him for extra. I said, no, no, you can be at a dinner, formal dinner, with your boss and your big clients, and then everybody eat and leave, and then you asking for a box? No, 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 no. So I was already ticked off by that. So the next day, um, so there are other things that happened in between. We went to the pool and we were talking, and she got annoyed by small things, like we went to the pool. There was a couple that was there with their kids. There's a sign in the pool that says no noise, like keep the noise level down because the pool is right in the middle between the rooms, right? So some little kids were in there and they were jumping in the pool and they were doing all kinds of stuff. Kids are gonna be kids. They're gonna make noise. They're gonna squeal, right? If you have a family-friendly hotel, expect to have some kids screaming. So she was like, look at the noise. Look at the noise. If that was my kids, they would never be here behaving like this. The parents should be ashamed. And she went on a whole spiel about the kids. Now, I have a young daughter. And I am sure my young daughter, even though she's well behaved, if she's in a pool and she's having fun, she's going to kind of scream. She's going to be like, ah! like she's gonna do something. She's not gonna be quiet. So I was a little ticked off by that because I'm like, kids are kids. Like, you can't have them be completely quiet. Like they're grown up. They're gonna enjoy the pool. They're gonna make a little scream. It shouldn't be that offensive to you, but it was. So I was like, huh. So then we get to talking. I didn't say nothing. I just let it run its course. We got to talking about some topics. We talked about relationship and who's dating who and what we're doing. And one of the things that she said was she's dating this guy, which she told me about before. And the guy, she really loved him. And the guy, he was going through a divorce, and he told her, "Hey, I'm going through this divorce. It's really rough for me right now. I cannot see myself just jumping into another relationship, and I don't want to continue." So she was really hurt by that, and I understand that. But then she told me that she's following the guy's family on Facebook. So she has a fake account. She follow his daughters. She follow his family. She see where they're going. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, but the guy has told you he don't want nothing to do with you, not because of anything you did. It's just that it's not the right time for him. Why do you follow him? Why are you following his family? Why are you tracking and tracing people? Like, that behavior is just not normal. If you date somebody and they've told you they don't want to be with you anymore because of whatever reason, they have the right to walk away. And you shouldn't be stalking them, messaging them, stalking their family, spying on them. No. And then she told me some other story at work where she and some coworker wasn't getting along, and she recorded all of their conversation, and she have everything recorded, and she's going to take them to the union, and she's going to do all of this stuff. When sometimes the easiest path is to just be a nice person. You can go this route and have all this evidence and back up everything you're saying, because it seems like she follows rules to the T. And if anybody doesn't follow the exact rule, then she's going to point it out, and it becomes combative. Just like with the kids in the pool. There's a sign that says no noise. So they shouldn't be making noise. And it's almost like she was so agitated. I thought she was going to report the parents to the hotel people because she was so annoyed because they were not following the rule of being quiet. Another example, we're in this country, right? So it's a foreign country. They don't speak English. We're trying to get a train because I don't know the place, but she just come and she just know everywhere and figure out where to go, and she's very good at that. I really admire that. So she takes me down. There's a underground train, and she says, we're going to get the ticket. So we go there, and we're in the line, but the way the booth is for the ticket, you kind of block the entrance to the train, if that makes sense. Like, they have to, if you're lined up too much, they have to go around you to get into the entrance to get into the train, the section where the train's gonna come. So we're standing there, and we're standing up waiting for somebody else to be served for us to go up. And some guy comes and kind of rushes past us, and he brushes past her on his way to get in. Maybe the guy was in a rush. He was trying to catch a train. Maybe he's going to work. Maybe I don't know what's going on. But he brushed past both of us. And she's like, look at this, look at this, look at this. I'm like, what happened? Hey, did you see the guy almost pushed me down? You see the guy almost pushed me down? I didn't even apologize, didn't even look back. And I'm like, he's probably not he doesn't understand what you're saying because he doesn't speak English. He's probably so focused on catching the train that he's rushing. We're kind of in the way, to be honest. The way they have the line doesn't make any sense because you have no place to stand but in the way. So he's brushing past you. I don't think he maliciously said, "Let me go look for these two black people. I just brush past them and make show them that I'm more superior." I don't think. No. The guy's on his way to do whatever, and he just happened to he brushed past both of us. It wasn't like he bumped into us and almost pushed us down. It was just a light brush as he's passing by, trying to get to where he's going. I wouldn't make a deal out of it. I don't make big deal out of simple things. She was annoyed. She was upset. She was like, oh, the guy's trying to push her down, and it was a big deal. And then I realized, oh my God, if these are the small things that you really become so overly agitated about, I don't understand how you're going through life, because this is ridiculous. Then we were at another place where she was showing me some monuments because she went there before me, so she took me there afterwards. And she was saying, I was standing right here, and she was there's a monument with some words, some historical information. And she said, I was standing right here. And the lady was standing here, and she was just in my way, blocking me. And I knew she saw me standing there. And I'm like, okay, but do we have to fight? Like, would you fight over that? Don't you just move and go somewhere else and look? I mean, maybe I'm a people pleaser, but those kind of things I wouldn't make into a big deal because I value my health. Like, you cannot go around the world just like annoyed at everything. Fine, she shouldn't have stood in front of you. Maybe that was rude. Maybe you could say, excuse me, I'm looking here, and maybe she didn't even notice you, because sometimes there's crowds around these monuments and the people are just standing in front of each other. She's like, no, she came in front of me with a camera, she was taking a video, and she was da-da-da. Maybe that's why she came in front of me. She was just trying to video the thing without people in it. I don't know. I don't excuse the behavior. Maybe it's really wrong, but the reaction was so explosive. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. So those are some of the other things that happened. But eventually, we were going the day before I had dinner with my company. The next day we didn't, right? We only had dinner one time. So the next day I went to dinner for myself. So we were walking around, and I was like, oh, I'm hungry, let's stop and get something to eat. She said fine. I said okay. So we go into this restaurant, and it turned out to be a very nice restaurant. They had lamb, they had this, they had that. So we sit down, and she says to me, I said to her, I want to try the traditional meal for this part of the world, this country. So I'm like, okay, I get the menu. There's some of these different options on the menu. And she said, what you gonna get? I said, oh no, I'm just looking at the menu, trying to see how to put it together. She said, okay, let me take it from you. Let me help you. So she takes the menu, and she starts showing me options and saying, oh yeah, what about this? What about that? I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. Okay. And she said, what about you put this and put this on the side, and then you get this and then put that on the side? And she's constructing the meal for me. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Yeah, that could work. That sounds like a good combination. I'm agreeing to it because I'm just like, oh, she's so nice. At least nice for doing that. That's let's take it real, right? I was thinking she was being nice to be trying to help me to come up with a good meal. I want to make that clear because you'll see in a minute. So the food comes, and I realize that she hasn't ordered for herself. That's strange. So then she asks the waiter for extra dish, extra plate. Okay. And then I start eating, and then she's like, okay, the things that were on the side were things that maybe were shareable, right? So we had little bread things that were everything was shareable. So she asked for a separate plate. I didn't really think nothing of it because some of the things could be shared. Until I realized that she didn't order at all. So the way she constructed the meal was that on the receipt, it would look like one meal for one person, but there were sides and sides and sides and sides that then she would share into her plate. And so she'd actually take this one meal and construct it into two plates, if that makes sense. So she asked me, before the waiter came with the dish, and before I realized what was happening, she asked me, what is my per diem? I said, what do you mean per diem? I don't even know what that means. She said, what's a per diem? Which means when we go out, the company will give us a certain limit for how much money we can spend for meal and transportation, entertainment, and all that stuff. And I told her, I don't know. I really don't know. Every time the company sends me out, I just use my conscience. I buy what I need, and that's it. I come, I give them the receipt, and they reimburse me, and that's it. I don't know what the maximum is. I'm not looking for the maximum so I can reach the maximum. I just don't be gluttonous. I don't be overbearing. I don't be wasteful. And I never had a problem. So she's like, you're coming on a trip and you don't know what your per diem is? I was like, I don't know. She's like, oh. Like, she was just so frustrated with me. She's like, oh my God. She's a person that really reads all the company policies because she wants to know them so she can exploit them, and also she can hold other people accountable to them. And that's how she gets in trouble at work, wherever she's working, because some things, once it's written in paper, she believes that you have to stick to this. And she's really a rule follower, and she insists that everybody follow it. And now I remember some examples at work where, like, it's in the book, it's in the handbook, it's in the this. It's like, we have these handbooks, but it's not something to beat you over the head with. It's just like a guide, but she doesn't get it that way. So she asked about the per diem. I tell her I don't know. And that's when she constructed the meal, however she constructed it. And then when the meal comes, I realize she doesn't have a meal. And then I realized she has a separate plate that she asked the waiter for. And then we're splitting everything down the middle. Okay, whatever. I mean, I find that to be distasteful. I would never do that, but whatever. Okay, we're having a good time. The waiters are great. The bartender is great. We're having a wonderful time. So part of the meal we had ordered creme brulee because I like creme brulee. So I wanted the creme brulee. So they brought the creme brulee in, and we everything is going in half now. So we cut it in half. On my side, I noticed that the creme brulee tends to have a nice crust at the top, and then the bottom is like soft and nice custard. But the bottom was kind of cold, almost like frozen, and it wasn't done well. So after I take a spoonful, I'm like, this is not good. This is not good. So I kind of put it aside. She's like, oh, this is not good. Oh, we got to change this. Oh, we got to get this money. And she started like being agitated with the waiter. And the waiter was so nice. I didn't want to like become a problematic person. So I'm like, no, it's okay. It's okay. No, you got to change it. You got to change it. You got to get another one. So she calls the waiter over, and he was so gracious. He's like, oh, sure, we take it off the bill. We give you another one or something, whatever. I don't remember what they did. I think they took it off the bill, I think. And that's how that worked. But I personally, when I go to the restaurants and I get something that's not good, I still kind of eat it, and I still pay them, and I still tip them. I might tell them, oh, I didn't like that too much, but I don't really make a big fuss because it's just food. It's just, look at this person. This person's trying to go forward, and they're climbing the embankment. Oh my God. Anyway, they backed out, so that's good. So anyway, I was like, why are you making a big fuss over the thing? Like, it's not even your money. It's like, it's not even your order. You ordered for me. I'm not fussing. Why are you fussing? So anyway, we ordered two separate drinks though. So she got two drinks. But on a bill, one person can have two drinks. So that's why everything looks like it could be just me eating. You know what I mean? So that when I go to reimburse myself, there probably wouldn't be any question. But she's smart. She knows how to do this. I feel like she's done this before. So her drink comes, my drink comes. I love my drink. It's wonderful. She loves her drink. It's wonderful too. So she said it's a part of the drink includes, I think, ginger beer, like a nice real ginger beer. So she says to the bartender, hey, can I have do you have like an extra bottle of this beer that you use? Because it's really good. So the bartender goes, gets a bottle and puts it there. And in the whole conversation about the creme brulee and he's going to take it off the bill, she's like, oh yeah, and you can just, don't even charge me for the ginger beer. Like, I would never do that. If I am going to consume something, I'm going to pay for it. I was like, what is going on right now? Why are you ordering things and then trying to find a way not to pay for the thing you ordered? I didn't like it at all. I didn't like it at all. I did not like it at all. And because with this, I don't like it. Because with this, even like when I go out, I tip. Even when the service is bad, I still tip, and I might say one or two words to the waitress, like, hey, it took a long time to give me my water, but I still leave you a tip because you're working. I just do it because you know what? A lot of people won't do the tip, and maybe this person have a bad day, whatever. It's not right, but I do it. So for you to order something and then to befriend the waiter and try to bamboozle him out of not paying for the extra ginger beer, I didn't like that. So I said to her, no, it's okay. You can pay. No, he's going to take it off. And then the waiter was so gracious. He come over and said, oh, yeah, I took it off. I took off the creme brulee and I took off the extra ginger beer, so you don't have to worry about it. Like, he was really nice. And we left him a good tip. She did tip. That's good. I left him a good tip too. And we were happy. And I left. But at the back of my head, I'm like, what just happened here? Why did you go in a restaurant and you didn't order anything and you split my food into half and then you want to get free drinks? And then you want to fight with people over something that I'm not even worried about. Like, what is going on? This is not good. So the last day we're going to leave now. This is the day after that incident. We were walking around because she told me that she found this spot, this monumental spot that's very famous that she wanted me to show me. I'm like, oh yeah, cool, let's see this, because I'm going to leave that day. And I didn't want to not see everywhere. So in the morning we went up there, so I would have time because I leave in the evening. I leave in the evening, so I would have time to go see this place, come back, and get my flight. So we wake up in the morning. I check out. I actually check out and I check out, but they have a way that you can leave your suitcase with them until when you're ready to leave, and then you come back and pick your suitcase. So it's a very nice, very nice hotel. So I leave my suitcase. We go on this trip to go see this landmark place. And on the way back, we stop and we see a shawarma place. So it has shawarma, and I love shawarma. I love shawarma. I love Mediterranean food in general. It's so fresh, so delicious. So we stop. We go to this shawarma place, and we order. So for this time, she ordered her own food, which is the first time in the whole trip I saw her actually spend her money. I was like, oh, that's great. So she ordered her food. I ordered my food. We sat down. We were eating. But I got tabbouleh. I got some hummus. I got chicken. I got wrap. I got the plate was too much. There was a lot of stuff on the plate. So by the time I ate my shawarma, the other side dishes, I couldn't manage them. I just couldn't eat them. So then she looks at me. She says, "You're gonna eat that?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She said, "You're gonna eat the tabbouleh. You're gonna eat the hummus. You're gonna." I'm like, "No, I'm full." She said, "Okay." And she just took the plate and started to scrape out my stuff. Scrape out my stuff into her plate. Like, I don't even do this with my mom. I don't do this with my friends. Like, you not eating your food, take it home. I'm not gonna eat your food. Granted, I didn't start eating it yet. It was complete. It wasn't like I started eating it and left it. It was completely untouched. But it's just weird. Like, why? If you want to exercise, go get an exercise. I'm not saying you should be wasteful, but I found that odd because I would never do that with any of my friends. I just don't do that. So that happened. I found that weird. So now that we're checking out, and then she finally tells me, so I'm checking out. I said to her, hey, I'm going to check myself out, but you have to pay for the extra day because you're going to stay here extra day, right? Because remember, I wasn't staying the extra day that she wanted me to stay. She said, no, 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 I'm not doing that. I'm like, why not? Where are you going to stay? She's like, I'm not staying at this hotel. This is too expensive. I'm not paying for a night here. Okay. And that hotel was like 250 a night. It wasn't like terrible. In that country, probably 250 a night was a lot for locals, but for me and my company, that was nothing, right? So she's like, I'm not paying 250 a night. I'm like, okay, all right. So we're gonna stay. She's like, I have booked a one night at another hotel that's somewhere else. And she's gonna when we check out, she's gonna go there and she's gonna check in there. So I'm like, okay. So I guess this is goodbye then. She's like, okay. I said, well, I'm gonna order my Uber. I'm gonna go straight to the airport. She's like, oh, you're gonna order Uber? I'm like, yeah. Cause she was I don't know what she thought. Maybe she thought I was gonna take a bus. I don't know. So I'm like, yeah. So she said, okay. So I ordered the Uber, and she says to me, how about you add a stop to drop me off at my hotel? And I say to her, well, I'm trying to go to the airport to catch the flight home. I don't know where your hotel is. I don't want to take no detour to go somewhere else and then come back in traffic and then all this stuff. Because I didn't have this in mind, the time that I'm leaving the hotel is enough time for me to get to the airport and catch this flight. So I don't want to do no weird, detour stuff. So she's like, no, 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 just add the address and see where it goes. So I add the address, and I can't tell you I didn't know how much time it would take extra. It took some extra time, but it took extra money too. So by adding that stop, it took an extra $20 onto the fare. So I said, yeah, if I add it, it's gonna be extra $20. She said, oh, no, 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 it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. The price of $20 was enough for her to say, nope, she ain't doing it. She said she's gonna take the train. So she dragged herself, and so I said goodbye, and she took her stuff and she went to the train and didn't see her again. But I was like, bro, how are you living? Like, you would rather, I don't even know if she got a train because the train doesn't go to the airport. So I don't know how she got there. Maybe she come off at one spot. Maybe she wasn't going to the airport. She was going to the hotel. So maybe that's why maybe the train passed by the hotel, whichever hotel she was going to. I don't know. But I messaged her to ask her if she was all right. She got there and she sounded like she was fine. And then I said, okay, fine. And then I told her I got my flight. And then that was it for a while. But I found that experience to be very strange. it felt to me that this was not really a friend. This was a person who wanted to capitalize on a trip that I was getting paid to go on by my company and just wanted to maximize everything that was a benefit that I had. This person was not interested in purchasing anything for themselves. They weren't interested in having their own, paying for their own accommodation. They were just trying to see how can they kind of live off me for a couple of days on this trip, which if we were brethren, if we were really close, if we had met each other before and I understand the situation and there's something behind it, fine. But this is my first encounter with you, and this is the kind of thing that you're doing. I don't know. I was not very happy and pleased with that. And it's something I just wouldn't do. So I'm always appalled when people do things that it never crossed my mind to do. Like, this is not a thing I would ever do. I travel all the time. I'm always going to countries. I'm always, going places that sometimes my company pays for me to go. And I would never say to a friend, hey, your company's paying for you to go here. Let me come and stay in your room so I don't have to pay any hotel fee. Let me come and use your per diem so I don't have to pay for food. Let me come and, get the Uber to drop me wherever because you can pay for it out of your company. I just don't think like that. I don't think like that. And maybe that's the reason why, sometimes I can't relate to people because these are things that maybe are common but it's not common in my world. Let me know what you think. Do you think this is normal behavior for somebody? Do you think that this person is really a friend? Should I cut this person off and say never again? What do you think? Let me know.